like conversational rather than just me telling about what we built or what we think or what we believe should be the future of context management, but rather more like a conversational, friendly fireside discussion. So we're going to go very quickly go through a couple of slides, and then I'm gonna jump into the demo right after the slides, and then we can maybe at the end for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, we'll open the floor for any kind of questions that you guys have. Can I ask before we start, how many of the people here have already used AI Context Flow, and how many of you haven't yet?
I have.
Okay, so there's one person who's already used. Okay, pretty
Yes,
good.
same here, but only basic use.
Okay,
But I already have
okay,
some context folders. Yeah.
okay, perfect, perfect. Yeah, this is exactly the kind of depth that I was looking to go into, that we can really figure out like what parts of the product still need more description, what parts are the areas where people are getting stuck, but all in due time. So I think a couple more people have joined. So just gonna recap. Hi everyone, I'm Hira. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Plurality Network. And today we're going to be talking about how to create one context layer that connects, that acts as the connective tissue, or that connects like all the different AI tools that you are using. But before we go into that level of detail, um, I want you guys to run like a quick mental check that how many AI tools did you actually use last week? So I'm just gonna give you guys a couple of seconds to think about what's the number basically. Was it just one tool, two tools, three tools, five tools? Okay, so three. Okay, good. If your answer was anything more than two, then you've come to the right place, because this is the exact kind of room where we are going to be talking about how do we make our lives easier if we are all using so many tools in a week. This someone has background noise. I think user maybe you need to mute it. And yeah, I totally forgot to introduce Yuze. Yuze is our GTM marketer. She helps us with launches and is essentially handling all the sales and outbound. So Yuze is also going to be moderating this webinar. And thank you, Yuze, for being such a superstar for arranging this. Okay, so talking about like all the different AI tools that we are using. Normally in these days, based on the users that we have talked to, AI native users are using between 3 to 5 AI tools. So let's consider an example of Sarah. Let's say she's a marketer and she creates different campaigns for products, messaging, um, emails, content, all of that stuff. And every time that she goes to a new tool or to a new session, she has to explain it over and over again, like what does her product do, what is their ICP, what are the brand guidelines, what's the product voice, all of this. So every new tool that she goes to, she has to create this context again and again and again. And if we are using between 3 to 5 AI tools, how do we actually keep them in sync? This syncing problem is one which is frustrating a lot of AI native users these days. And this context repetition tax that we're all paying, this adds up really fast. For most people who are using between 3 to 5 tools, this when they start calculating, this comes out to be between 3 to 5 hours per week. Not to mention the bad responses that they get because of data that is not synced between these tools. Our vision is a little bit different. So right now there are some platforms or some AI tools that do not have the concept of memory at all. But there are also some platforms that have now tried to that are now bringing in native memory features. Some of the examples being ChatGPT and Claude. But even the platforms that have these memories, these are isolated, fragmented islands. Each of them know a little bit about you, but every time you go to a new tool, then you again have to start from scratch. And let's say you exist in 2 or 3 places at the same time, and you have some information in the first fragmented island, some information in the second fragmented island, some information in the third fragmented island. And if you want to sync information between them, this is like a very manual process nowadays. Maybe you write a prompt to export your context and you upload it to the other platform, but it gets messy and there's no easy way to do it. And that is where we come in. So our vision is that since it's your data, it's your context, and there are so many AI tools, so many platforms, so many models coming out there, you need to have a central place where kind of like a backpack that you can carry with you wherever you go. And this is what we're building towards, and that is the whole vision behind AI Context Flow. It is an MCP native portable memory for any AI. And as I promised, there are not going to be a lot of slides and it's going to be interactive. So I would just like to directly dive into the demo. So let me share the full screen. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. So I guess the easiest way to get started is by signing up on the Memory Studio. So you just go to the app.plurality.network, just sign up with whatever email you want to use. And I already have signed up, so I have a lot of different folders and stuff that's lying around. But if you're, for example, signing up for the first time, there will be a little bit of an onboarding tutorial, and this part will be like a blank slate for you. So think of it as the control center or the command center for all your memories. This is the place where you organize your memory, you like name them, sort them, and we call a folder as a memory bucket, but you can call it as a workspace, as a memory space, as a folder, whatever you want to call. So let's just create a GTM for product X. Anything that you're working on could be different projects, could be different clients, could be different aspects of your life. So I know some people that are creating buckets that represent the different aspects of their lives. I know some people that are consultants and work with a lot of clients, so they create like one bucket per client. I also know people that are marketers and that use different buckets for different brand guidelines for the different brands or different products that they're working with. So you have to figure out a way of how you want to organize it, but it's pretty flexible, and we're also adding consistently new features. So it's gonna get more and more flexible with time. So let's say we created this first memory bucket, GTM for product X. Right now it has no memories here. You can add text, you can upload different kind of files, but let's start with something different. So let's say that you like to read a lot of articles on the internet, and you highlight information or you gather notes from there. So let's say I say GTM job strategies. I go to there is this article that I like, and I think that this is very, very good, has a lot of good tips, and I want to save it. So for example, what I can do is that I can either select something that I like, I right click, and I can save the selected text to AI memory, or I can just simply store the save the whole page. So when I click the save the whole page, it's going to show me like all the different buckets that I have and ask me like, do you want to save to existing memory bucket, or do you want to save it as a new memory bucket? So I will just say that I want to add it in the GTM for product X. So I just saved it here. I forgot to mention one thing. For this saving highlighting feature, you need to install the Chrome extension. So this AI Context Flow Chrome extension, I already have it in my browser, so that's why I was able to do it. So now let's go back to the Memory Studio. I refresh it, and now I have this go-to-market strategy. I can change the name if I don't like it. Now here I can see that this was a web page content, and this was the source where it's coming from, and this is the person who added it. Because memories can also be shared between different team members, so that's why there's also this tag of who added it. There's some summary that is shown here, but if you want to see the raw text of what was actually saved, you click on it, and there's a sidebar that opens up. that shows like the entire content that was added. So you can like see everything that was added. You can also download it as text if you want to like take it as a backup or export it. If you think like, okay, I did not want this part, for example, you can just remove it and you can save it. So you can also edit your memories. For example, memories also get outdated a lot. Let's say you're adding a lot of stuff into your memory bucket. 6 months later, you come back and you realize that, okay, half of the stuff you don't need anymore. So you can also delete it. You can also edit it. And you can also see the version history, for example. So for example, this is the current version, and you can see, okay, some things were changed here. And you can also like restore it to a previous version if you want. So if you like press restore, it will restore to the previous version and your edits will be undone. So this is, for example, the first thing that you can do. Similarly, you can also delete. You can also, if, for example, you delete a memory, it goes into trash and it stays in trash for 30 days before it gets permanently deleted. So deleting is like a soft delete that can be undone. And the reason for this soft delete is that all of these operations that you're seeing here in the UI can also be done directly from chat within agents through the MCP server, but I'm going to come to that in a little while. So other things, what other things can you do? So for example, let's say you're on a website and you want to understand that website better in context of the knowledge base, or using your stored memories or your knowledge base as the source of truth. So what you can do is like you can open the sidebar, make sure that this use current website toggle is on so that it can read the page. If you toggle this off, then it will not be able to read this page. And then you ask anything about this page, maybe just ask it to summarize it based on whatever you have in your knowledge base or anything that you want to do. You can also like change the models from here if you want, and it will then use that model to generate the response. So this is something that you can do from here. Other thing that you can do is like, let's say you are on ChatGPT and there is some very good chat that you had, let's say, and you can also directly save that chat into the memory bucket. So let's say you can also like save this into the memory bucket. So you can save chats, you can save any highlight from the internet, you can upload files, you can upload text. A lot of things are possible. Right now, based on some of the user feedback, some people also wanted to have the capability of saving, let's say, video. Like, let's say they see something on YouTube and they want to store it. So there are all these different requests that have come as well, which we will slowly work through and keep adding more ingestion parameters, like different formats that could be ingested. So now if I go to my memory bucket again, you see that now I have multiple types. I can also like filter. So you see that this was the chat that was saved at ChatGPT, and we can also see like the full chat raw data. Okay. Any bucket that you create can also be shared with other people. So you can, let's say, share with your friends or your team members or your partner, whatever. You can give them viewer or editor access as well. So let's say I give myself an access, and then I will have this link that I need to copy and share with whoever I want to share. The person whose email I entered, I need to give it to them, and then they'll be able to access the same memory bucket in their memory studio as well. Okay, so this was all well and good, but the main thing that we want to talk about today is MCP. So this is one of our newest features that we added around 1.5 months ago, and which our team is like fully focused on improving further. We have had amazing feedback on MCP, but I wanted to talk to more users. And if you have already used it, we would love to have more feedback around it, because this is our this is what we're focused on at the moment. So MCP, but what exactly is MCP? For people who might not have tried this, MCP, think of it as a plug that can help your AI agent, whatever agent you're using, Claude, ChatGPT, OpenClaw, TypingMind, LM Studio, whatever you're using, that agent can access data from this data source. So whatever you create in your Memory Studio, this can be accessed by your AI agent of your choice through this MCP connector. So this is the modern APIs in a way. And we have written detailed guides for the different tools. Let's say how to do it on ChatGPT, Claude, with OpenClaw. Like a lot of people are also using it with OpenClaw. So whatever you want to connect it with, you can see it's fairly easy. Takes between 1 to 5 minutes max. So the connectivity is not a problem. I will also show you just now how to do it. So if you're using any web-based or desktop-based agent, you can simply use the OAuth version. But if you have a setup that does not have access to a UI, like it's only CLI based, or a lot of people that are using OpenClaw, then you need to create this with a personal access token. So you can find how to do this in your guides, but we will not cover the personal access token part in this webinar. Let me show you how to do it with the simple OAuth based setup. So I'm going to open my Claude desktop. And then what I can do is that I can go to settings and connectors. Oh, okay, connectors have moved to customize. Okay, so these are like different connectors. What you can do is like you can press this plus button, add connector, and then you can say add custom connector. And here you can write any name that you want to give it. I will just call it AI context flow, and then I will paste the URL that I copied from the Memory Studio and just simply press add. And now it's saying you're not connected to AI context flow yet, so I need to press connect. Once I press connect, it's going to redirect me to a screen where it asks me access to authorize, like authorization access, that Claude wants to connect to your AI memories, and this is all the things that it will be able to do. I just say, okay, I allow. And once I allow, then it's going to take me back to Claude. And now it says, okay, it's connected to AI context flow. So let's go back and I'll start a new chat and I say, what GTM tips have I already covered? Check my memory, something like this. So these agents, most of these agents have an inference loop of their own, and they, based on your query, they try to figure out if they they have access to all these tools that have connected to them as MCP connectors, and then they check that if some of these tools need to be called. So now, since I said that, okay, what GTM tips have I already covered? Check my memory. So what it did was, I can show you. So it went and it find tools, and in tools it found that, okay, there is an AI context flow tool that has some memory things, and then it read the context. It went through all of my memory buckets that I had in my Memory Studio, and then it figured out, okay, there is one memory bucket that has something regarding to GTM strategy. So it essentially said that, okay, this is a bucket, and okay, I have two buckets essentially where it found out two things. So that's 12 tips across your 2 GTM memory buckets. Want to find more that haven't been covered yet or build any of these? So I can maybe like say, can you copy everything from the second bucket into the first bucket, let's say. So it's gonna try to, okay, it's in the same. So I'll just ask something else like, can you find more tips that haven't been covered in these memories? Let me hide this. So now Claude is like scouring the internet and finding out more things that are not already covered. So it's saying, okay, here are 5 fresh tips not covered in your memories. And then, yeah, save them in my memory. So I can just say something like this, my memory. So now it's saved in my GTM. Okay. So like we will see now that it's saved in the memory bucket properly. You can do editing directly from MCP. You can delete anything from the bucket. You can restore previous versions. You can restore previous, like let's say you move something to trash, you want to restore it. You can do all of this. There are only 2 things that you cannot do from the MCP, and that is that you cannot delete an entire memory bucket from the MCP, and you cannot share the bucket with somebody else directly from the MCP. For these 2 things, you need to go to Memory Studio, but other than that, everything that you can do on the Memory Studio, you can also directly do within the memory bucket. So if I go back to, yeah, so now it's showing that now we have some new GTM tips, and this was saved by Claude via MCP. So you can also you can have all these different tags, and then you can also filter through them. So this is also possible. Now, let's say I want to delete something, I move it to trash, then this is like a soft delete. And we put in this soft delete because sometimes, let's say, because you don't have everything visible in MCP, maybe you deleted something by mistake. So then you can also, you have 30 days to restore it back. So you can also do this exact same thing from MCP as well, or you can do it from the UI. So we restored it back. Now, this was pretty much what I wanted to talk about. And again, if this is the MCP connector that was stored, that I connected with Claude, but if you have the same MCP connector connected to your OpenClaw, to your ChatGPT, to your LM Studio, to whatever, it will have the same access to the same memory, and everything will be synced in real time. So I can actually go to ChatGPT now and ask it about this JTM strategy, and it will say that it has these 17 tips, not the 13 tips. So there's no manual syncing process that you need to do. Similarly, if you go to any sidebar, if you open the sidebar and you ask, let's say select for this GTM for product X, it will also have the same 17 tips. So everything is synced. And at this point, I will like to stop talking and open the stage for questions. We have an AppSumo lifetime deal going on, and that is valid for only 7 more days. The pricing starts from $59, and you get essentially lifetime access to this product, including most of the feature updates that we will be doing over this year and the next year. So if something here catches your fancy, or if you feel like this is a useful tool, do check it out as well. And that's it. Thank you. And open for questions now.
So I can save a memory bucket or all my memories in this what is it called? MPT?
MCP, yeah,
MCP.
Model Context Protocol.
And I've got like 6 or 7 of them right now in the network, and I want to put them into Claude. So all I have to do is just put that memory, and it will take everything I've got in my memory and put it into Claude. Is that correct?
Yeah. So let's say if I have okay, I have many. I have like 20 plus memory buckets. I go to Claude. I already have MCP connected. I will say, how many memory buckets do I have? Let's say. And it's gonna do this tool call. It's gonna do this get user memory buckets, and you'll say, okay, so you have 22 memory buckets, 19 that you own, and 3 that were shared with you. So 3 memory buckets are those that other people have shared with me, but I did not create them myself. So this is like, this was shared by somebody else, this was shared by somebody else, something like this. And similarly, if you have the same MCP connector in ChatGPT or something else, actually, let's try that out as well. ChatGPT. Let me see. I have the extension here, but I want to see the MCP connector. Okay, so I already have the MCP connector connected here. This AI context flow. It's also pretty simple to add an MCP connector in ChatGPT. If you have the pro version, then you don't need to enable the dev version, but I have the free version, so there's like an additional step for me. But the dev version is already enabled, so you just add more. Oh, sorry, no, not this. Settings, apps, create app, and yeah, here you like write the name and you write the URL and then press create and it's done. So this, I already have this, so I just ask how many memory buckets do I have? Check AI context flow memory buckets. So it says the same thing. So you have these buckets, and these are 3 that were shared with you, and it has access to the same, exactly same information.
Good. Okay.
And people are also like connecting them to OpenClaw or like really programmatic workflows as well. Because like, for example, like here in these UIs, you use the OAuth version. So you press connect and then it asks, it like opens like a login kind of screen and it asks for you to authorize it. The other way, for example, if you're using it in a programmatic way, let's say with your OpenClaw, you have a Docker container or any such fancy workflow, then you need to do it like this. You go here, you manage MCP tokens, and you create like, so like for example, I have these different different personal access tokens for OpenClaw, 𝗵𝘁, agentic AI, blah blah blah. And then you just press create token. You give it a name, let's say webinar. And then you set an expiry, like when will it expire? Never, in 30 days, 90 days, whatever. And then you create a token, and then it's only going to be visible to you once. So you need to copy it and then store it somewhere safe, because this is essentially anyone who has access to this token has access to your memory studio. And you can also then revoke or rotate it. So I'm just going to revoke it now.
Hi,
Thank you.
Qiba. We have 2 questions from the chat. One question from Tom. If I use MCP, do I still need projects in ChatGPT or Claude, for example?
So it's up to you, but a lot of people are now ditching the projects in ChatGPT or Claude, and they just try to keep everything in this MCP and then just pull information from that MCP on real time. Some users that I talked to today morning are also using it for Grok, because apparently a lot of people don't like the memory features of Grok. So they just connect MCP to Grok, and even though they are not multi-AI users, they just use Grok, but they still prefer the MCP from AI context flow to have like a persistent memory. So try it out and see how it works out for you.
Yeah. So we have next question from Sid. How is it different from cloud projects and extension? For example, a cloud user can create projects and can use cloud extension to extract data for the particular project.
So the first thing is that Claude projects, for example, you can only use it inside Claude. You cannot use it in sync with ChatGPT or other AI tools. And the second thing is that even when there are ways to get data out of these ecosystems, there is no real-time syncing. What we want to do, what our vision is, that you're using several different tools at the same time and the data is synced between them in real time. So you don't have to, like, if one tool is better for content creation and another tool is better for coding, then you should not be forced to stay locked inside one ecosystem. You should be able to use the best tool for the job. And data should not be the part that's stopping you from freely moving around.
I hope that answered the question. And we have a new question from Mark. What about docs or PDF being stored in MCP? Is that possible? For example, can Claude access it as it's dragged into a prompt window?
Yeah, let me show you. So, for example, here, if you upload a file, you can upload, let's say this is a novel. And of course, if you have like really large PDFs, it's going to take some time. But what happens is that when you upload a file, okay, I think this is too big, but maybe let me try the other one. I think it's a very image heavy. But what I was saying is that, yeah, this was like all pictures, that's why. What it does is that whatever text, whatever document you upload, whether it's a PDF file, it's a Word file, whatever, this file gets split into different chunks, and then we create vector embeddings out of it. And the good thing about vector embedding is that you can then do a semantic search over it. And later on, let's say when you go to Claude and you ask it, okay, what is my any question about data that was in that PDF, then it will be able to ingest and find out the most specific chunk of information that is the closest to your query and bring it via MCP. So the file is like not exactly the full, it's not exactly stored as just the file. It's actually split and made ingestible by the AI. But this is something that is interesting because I don't know how deep you guys are into the whole AI context management strategies, but there are two schools of thought right now. So there's one school of thought that says put everything in Markdown, create a Git repository, or just put in everything as like in the file system. And then there's another school of thought that says that no, semantic search is better over embeddings, and therefore vector embeddings need to be created. What we have done is that we have combined the two approaches so that you can also have access to the full raw text, and you can also download it, version history it. So you have access to the full data, but we also convert it into the vector embedding, so you can also do semantic search over it. I hope I did not go into too much technicalities and that kind of answered the question. So the short answer is that yes, you can upload PDFs and it will be available to Claude via MCP or any other chat agent or AI agent via MCP.
And a following question from Eric is that what is the capacity of MCP?
What is the capacity of MCP? I don't think that's the right question. So when you're uploading files, you can upload a maximum of 10 MB file right now. Right now, we have this limitation in place for latency for keeping the latency in check. But once the file is uploaded, no matter how large it is not being stored as like one file. It is rather being stored as chunks. So when you ask a question, it will find the most recent chunk and it will bring it. But if you ask it that I want to, like, let's say, print all the raw information of the file, then what it does is that it brings in all the chunks in sequence. So it's not like one file that it's bringing all the chunks, it assembles it, and then you can also see like the entire file as well. So for the user, you don't really see that, okay, these are like different chunks. You see, okay, I uploaded the file, I got all the textual information out of that file back. But behind the scenes, there are all these different chunks that are being assembled in real time.
And we have another question. To save the tokens on the respective platforms, does it make more sense to first save larger PDFs or Word files as Markdown and then upload them to AI Context Flow instead?
This is up to you, but we already do that. So when you upload PDFs, we already do this kind of stripping away. So images are not processed right now. This is something on the roadmap. So images, for example, are stripped out. The raw textual data is taken, and then it is then stored in a way that AI can ingest. So yes, if you, for example, okay, I think there's another thing that I need to tell you guys. So when people think like, okay, this is the storage capacity of the tier or the subscription that you have bought, they are thinking about in raw files, but we also do the stripping, and then after stripping, data gets stored. Does this answer the question? Yes, no?
Is this question more about like saving? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. But yes, if you want to like make it easier for the system, then go ahead. Markdowns are definitely easier to process as compared to if there's a PDF with a lot of images or embedded items. But we do strip them out on our ingestion layer as well.
Hi team, I have several questions, and I thank you very much for this. I love what you've done. I mentioned, I think, on Discord that I've spent quite a lot of time with this myself. So my first question very simply is, I sent some emails. I just want to make sure you got them. Is there an acknowledgement of receipt, or what do you do with them? Should I expect a response? That kind of thing.
Okay. So did you send it at contact@plurality.network?
Yes.
And what was like, if you can share the email, that would help. If not,
yeah, well, okay. One of them is one of my questions. So you and I were chatting, I think, over the weekend on Discord, and one of them is about the Markdown stripping problem that I had. I was adding Markdown files.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and, I remember. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So normally, what we do is like this contact@plurality.network. A copy of these emails gets sent to my email, but because it's like I'm getting like 2 to 3 dozen emails a day.
That's
so
all?
What I do is like, at this point, yeah. So what I do is like after like 1 or 2 days, I pick a slot and then I work through those emails. So mostly I respond within 48 hours. I remember your Markdown problem. I've created a ticket about it, but I think I need to get my CTO to work on this, but there are other things that are on his plate right now. But the acknowledgement is there. We saw your email.
Yeah, great. That's really what I wanted to know. Make sure they're received, which I assume that they were, and then what might happen with them. So when that gets addressed, does that get addressed just on your end, or does there have to be a full release of some kind that have to wait for an update? How does that work?
Yeah. So normally, if the change is just on this, like if the change is about the backend or the Memory Studio or the MCP, then we can directly release. But if there is any change in the extension, then there is a review process by the Chrome store, which takes a couple of days. But when they do get addressed, and we do reach out to the people that initially raised that ticket, and then we tell them, okay, now this is resolved.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. along the same lines, I have things like all those markdown files in structured folders, like a framework, which I can compress into a zip, for example, or I can just, have a full folder structure. Right now, I'm finding that Memory Studio only will accept flat. So I flatten the entire thing. I put some prefixes in front of it so that I can keep track of it. Is there any thought about
Subfolders.
including that? Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Subfolders is
bucket
something.
itself?
Yes, there have been a couple of discussions within the team about adding subfolders. We don't have a fixed decision right now about how exactly we're going to do it, because there's always this balance to be found about not making the UI too complicated, that it becomes like very much like jumbled for the average user. But yes, this has come up with some other customer conversations as well, that there needs to be some hierarchy within the. Right now, what we've done is that you can easily move your memories between different buckets. But yes, subfolders, that is something that we know we need to get to.
That's great. And within the like for storing the memories themselves within the memory buckets, I was referring in that previous question to in a particular memory or series of memories. And how about within a memory bucket? Is that subfolders on the agenda for that as well?
Okay, then I think I misunderstood your earlier question.
That's okay. I thought so.
Yeah. So I was talking about like buckets within buckets. So like, for example, like similar to like file system, so you have a folder, that folder can have some memories, but it can have also like subfolders. So that kind of hierarchy, we are working through it.
Okay. So back to my original question then. So I have this framework where I have markdown files and a whole bunch of folders. But I have to upload each one individually, into its appropriate new subfolder structure in the in what you're considering, or is there a way for me, or would you consider a way to be able to accept, an entire folder structure in some format, and put it where you need it to be?
Okay, that's an interesting one. I don't have a clear answer to it right now, but we'll need to discuss it within the team. Like, what is the direction that we are looking to resolve this? Like, how exactly are we looking to resolve this? But what I understand from your question is that, for example, you have a folder and then you upload it, and then whatever the hierarchy within the folder, that gets automatically added. Is that what you meant?
Essentially, yeah. I have one thing in particular in mind where I have 17 different markdown files in 4 top level folders, and each of those, or one or two of those, might have its own subfolder. And so what I had to do is I did like A00, A01 for one folder, and I flattened the whole thing, which fortunately 7-zip and NanoZip do for me. And then and then I uploaded them all. So that works. And then again, the markdown's missing. So anyway, it's just I know you're working on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'll suggest, I know that you want to keep the UI more simple, and maybe you need an advanced mode or a developer mode or something like that for other people to. Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah.
As soon as I get this out of the way, I can see my next note. Okay. So you said that essentially everything or something like that was included in No Lifetime Access via AppSumo, which I've participated in, and thank you for that. What's not included?
What's not included right now, all the features that we have is included, but later this year we have so on our roadmap there is a team sharing feature. So right now you can share buckets with with different people, but essentially for a team plan, that's not how it works. Like normally the way a team operates is that there is one person that's paying for like 4 or 5 people, and then there's like some billing things, some additional requirements. So the team plans, that is something that we're still discussing, because the requirements for that are partially etched out, not completely. So that there were some people who bought tier 3, And we've been thinking that people who bought tier 3, they should have access to the team features, but not the tier 1 and tier 2 people, because the economics, unit economics are not just making sense there. So that is probably not going to be included for tier 1, tier 2. Most probably will be included for tier 3 people. And then the second thing is that we are experimenting with the skills, context plus skills, kind of like a marketplace. Think of it as, for example, like you have Claude skills, but Claude skills is something different, context is something different. We're experimenting behind the scenes to combine them and then be able to share it with other people. So let's say you're a marketer, and then there's another marketer with a long history of doing amazing things, and then this person combines the different contexts, like as files or as notes or whatever, and then on top of that they can add super prompts, kind of like skills. And then this whole thing, we call it like a context bucket, or the terminology is still not fully finalized, but then this could be able to be shared with other people. So let's say somebody comes to the Memory Studio and they see right now it's like an empty canvas for them. They have to put in the effort to do all of that. But what we want is that right from the start, somebody can say, okay, I'm a marketer and I have this list of amazing plugins, and I can directly, like, import and start using. And this is something that we are working on. And I cannot promise anything because like it's a work in progress. But this most probably will not be included in the AppSumo deal. So you will have access to it, but if you, for example, need to get somebody's context, then there would probably be additional payment on top.
Great, thank you. That's a very helpful answer. And I am a marketer, and I totally follow that. That made great sense. Yeah, okay, thank you. So, and then I saw that there's premium models. So how do you get access to that?
So behind the scenes, we're using AWS Bedrock, and our servers are in EU. We're an EU-based, Germany-based company. So AWS Bedrock, they routinely take out, like they roll out different models, but the timeline is in their hands, because most of the models, they come a little bit earlier in US and a little bit later in EU. So as soon as they're available to us, then we will also make it available to the users. But based on how much tokens they consume and how expensive they are for us, we will then also, like, if you open the Memory Studio or the sidebar, you can see this this multiplier, that this will cost you 2 times tokens, this will cost you 4 times tokens. That is a direct reflection of how much it's costing us. So based on like how expensive these models are, then the same multiplier will be then transferred on to the user.
Okay, if I understood you correctly, because I can see the multipliers, but there's some models that are just grayed out with like a 4 or 5 times multiplier. So they're just not available yet.
They are just not available in that tier. And the reasoning behind that was that because these models were quite expensive for the tier that, for example, you have bought. So the amount of messages you would have been able to do if we would have let you use those would be quite less. And we knew that this would frustrate users. So rather than people getting in a situation where they just had a very short conversation and their credits for the day run out. So that's why we just said, okay, let's take this option out. So this was the reasoning behind it.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. All right, I still have 2 more if you don't mind. I'm almost done.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I was also chatting with you on Discord over the weekend about saving a full chat. So I have thousands of pages in some of these chats, which is not necessarily smart, but there are reasons for it.
Okay.
And so when I go to AI context in the Chrome extension, I think that's how I do it, and I save the chat, right?
It will only save a summary.
What's that?
So if you, for example, this came up with another user as well. Sorry, I'm interrupting you here. But for example, if you have like a large summary and you save it via the extension, it takes the it takes the chat and then it summarizes it. If you really want to keep like the entire chat, like with all the turns, like what you said, what the AI said, everything in raw text, then the best way would be to do like a select A, right click, save to memory, like save full page to memory. That would be an easier way.
Yeah.
Or just add like a raw text, or just copy it, go to Memory Studio, add text.
Yeah, so there's an issue with that, which is frustrating, and I'm dealing with it. But at least in ChatGPT, they have multiple UI issues that make that challenging.
Okay.
They hide some of the information behind show more. Claude does the same thing.
Okay.
And anyway, Ctrl+A and things like that don't work. But what I have been able to do is do a full account, which is the only way they offer it, a full account export history. And then I can get the entire text transcript, and then I can parse that and do all kinds of stuff with it.
Yeah.
That's fine. So I can't do it through the app at the moment or ever or whatever. I understand. Okay. And then my only last question is there a public roadmap anywhere, or do you plan to have one?
Yeah, so if you go to from the founders post in AppSumo, the first one, like the very first post that I did, we said basically the same two things, that we have the Teams sharing plan on the roadmap, and then this marketplace. So this is what is on the roadmap for this year. And then we also keep, like, based on the customer feedback, we also keep adding features that are like not major product reveals, but more like minor improvements, including things like supporting more file extensions, doing things like all these little tips and tricks that you guys come up with. We regularly try to incorporate those in the product as well.
Okay.
But the two big things I've already told you about.
Thank you very much. That's a sub question for that, and I promise I'll be done. Things like the markdown stripping that we talked about, is there public access to like what kinds of features and issues are being reported in GitHub or anywhere like that, or is that just internal?
No, that is internal right now, but I agree with you, because that would probably, we're at that point where we need to have an internal system more than like just getting emails and sorting them and tagging them. So I agree, we're on that point where we need to do something about it.
Okay, great. I appreciate everything you're doing very much. If I can assist or offer anything that's useful, I will. Thank you everybody for allowing my questions.
Hira, do you want to add more to the difference with the tiers in the 3 subscription plans? Eric was wondering.
Yeah, let me share the screen again, and then we can talk a little bit about that.
Just a reminder that we have 5 minutes left in the meeting.
Okay. So I'm just going to use this AppSumo deal page for the different tiers. So we have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And the biggest difference between them is not on the features, but rather on the models that are available and the credits. So for example, in the tier 1, you have 1667 credits per day. In tier 2, you have 5,000, and in tier 3, we have 15,000. I know this number is a little bit weird, but I promise you there were reasons behind it. But all the features that you saw during the demo today, all of them are available. It's just that you will be able to do a lot more messages, a lot more prompts, a lot more context saving if you're on a higher tier. And as discussed, for tier 3, we most probably will include the team features that we launch later on as well. For tier 1 and tier 2, they will not be included. And these credits, they cover both the Chrome extension and the MCP server. So think about it like this, that every operation that you do will deduct some credits from this daily limit. How you can view how much credits you are using. If you go on your Memory Studio, you go on your profile and then billing, you will see here that, okay, I'm like really at the more or less at the end of the limit for today. But my memory storage is quite a lot. Like, so like I've only used 80 MB out of the 5 GB that I have. And I am on AppSumo tier 2. So like, this is what here, from here you can see like how much you have remaining. And says this is a lifetime, so there's like no upcoming billing here. And yeah, and if you have any questions about the different tiers, let me know.
Or maybe we have time for the one last question. Earlier you talked about vector embedding. When we upload a document, what's the chunk size? 1 chunk per document.
I'm afraid I do not remember it right now, but I can get back to you. If you leave this question on our Discord, my technical team members will get back to you. I don't remember the chunk size right now.
Okay, and Tom is wondering, would you mind if I send you a connection request? Okay, to follow you on LinkedIn, of course.
Yeah, of course. Like I'm pretty vocal on LinkedIn. If you just search 𝗲𝗃𝗍, you will find me on LinkedIn. You will get probably 1 post per day about AI context flow. So don't get annoyed by that. But if that's okay with you, sure, send me a request.
Yeah. Oh, we have one question from David.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
When and if necessary, can more storage be purchased for a specific tier or at least above and beyond tier 3?
I would suggest that go for tier 3 to get the most storage. And these 10 GBs, don't think of it as like 10 GB of data. It's 10 GB of embedding. So that's a lot. I think this is something that people are a little bit worried about, that 10 GB is not a lot, but this is 10 GB of embeddings, not 10 GB of raw data.
Right. I think we are closing the time. Just 1 minute left. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. It was really a pleasure talking to all of you. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, you can reach out to us on Discord. You can drop me a message on LinkedIn, or you can drop an email to contact@plurality.network. So all 3 channels we regularly scan.
Thank you very much. Very interesting.